So Maggie, it's good to see you.
It's great to be back, and it's great to see you, Mark. Yeah. How have you been?
Very good, very good. Thank you so much. Hey, what we were originally going to talk about was a question I had for you, and I know I mentioned this a little bit earlier, and this is a new thing, is that the White House has said there's now this zero tolerance of gun store mistakes, that if you make a certain mistake, and they kind of have a short list of mistakes that you can make, that you can't make, that you make one, you're shut down. Like, you're immediately shut down. You have to surrender everything, shut down. And those mistakes are, as I understand it, I don't have them in front of me, but the general idea is selling guns to people who don't qualify for that. Like, maybe they don't pass background check, or you knew they were lying about something, or they, whatever the case may be, that they didn't qualify for that gun. If you sell them that gun, or if you knowingly sell illegal components, knowing, that kind of thing, that's another thing. So I was just curious if what kind of you've heard or anything, or just any insight you might have on that at all.
So
it's kind of a big question.
My first question was, how bad do these mistakes have to be for a zero? Like, no, you're gone. Like, you forgot to cross the T on Kansas City, and you're out. No, it can't be that easy. No. So it's got to be, obviously selling guns to someone who can't pass their background check, or selling parts that illegal parts for guns. And I do know that there are gun stores that have gotten closed down for that. To my knowledge, in the 80% of the decade that I have been employed in the firearms industry, that's always been the rule. Like, hey, you don't sell to people who can't pass a background check. When you yourself have a license, you have to follow all the rules, and that's always been one of the rules too. And you're like, hey, don't go selling illegal machine guns or illegal parts to make these guns full. That's always been a thing.
Well, I think apparently have you ever heard of anybody like getting warned about that and then they're shut, or is it just?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess maybe that in life is different.
So that has happened before. Not here at this store, but I do know.
The books here, of course it does. You run a tight ship here. I do know that.
I would like to hope so. I would really like to hope so.
I'm sure they just love you. The idea.
Some of them. I'm sorry, Agent Beans, for the time I hit you with my A&D book, but you probably kind of sort of deserved it, and I'm glad we're still friends. I'll see you the next time you swing by for an audit.
I don't even remember what you were saying. I'm so sorry.
So no, the firearms businesses, the licensed dealers that are selling illegal parts or illegal firearms, or selling to people who are not allowed to own firearms, or who just can't pass their background check, that's a thing. And they catch those on audits and things and go, wait a minute, it says here that this person was denied the purchase of a firearm on the 12th. 2 days later, on the 14th, they came in to pick up their gun. You saw that it was denied, and you went, bye, have fun, take it home, just sign and date, there it goes. And they go, why'd you do that? You really screwed up. The FBI, when they gave you the results of that background check, said, no, don't give this person a gun. And you were just like, yeah, have fun, bye. No, you don't do that. And so that's usually when they get caught, is in these audits, where it shows up on the paperwork that, yeah, you really you messed up. So you know better than to do that. Obviously, you hope that it's made by an employee that was their first day, their first transaction, and they weren't even paying attention. That employee probably isn't going to be able to keep their job for very long, especially if the owner of the license wants to continue holding their license. Now, if it's the owner of the license that's doing that,
That's interesting.
then that owner, all of that's going to come back on him or her. If the ATF comes in and sees that you keep doing the same dumb mistakes, yeah, you're going to get closed right quick. So I do understand a zero tolerance for people who aren't.
Clearly you did this on purpose. Like
Yes.
the owner of the store, the man or woman holding the license.
The man or woman holding the license.
Chose to make,
This is a
and
conscious
it
decision.
wasn't a mistake.
You get those results, you read those results, and provided you can read, it says, yes, this person may proceed with a firearm out the door by, or no, this is denied in nice big letters, denied. They don't give us a reason, they give us a transaction number, they don't tell us anything. It's not our business to know why you were denied. But all we get is this transaction number, this transaction was denied. That's where we stop.
Yeah, I see. So now if I understand it right, which I don't know if I ever understand things that come from the ATF or the White House, but if I understand it right, it's now like if for example, if you guys had a new employee and he did that by mistake day one, that now that is a zero tolerance, that now you actually, your employees will be accountable for your FFL as well. In regards to that short list is kind of what that sounds like.
That is ridiculous. Now, I would understand.
You should ask that agent.
I would
ask him, like, just kind of give that hypothetical. Because if zero tolerance, like, well, what is the difference now? Like, if
I do know that there are employees who were let go from their employment at a firearms store for making too many mistakes. Somebody that's watching the paperwork or doing whatever sees either your initials on there somewhere, or there's usually something, an indicator that can tell you which employee ran which background check, or which employee is doing what transaction. For a small store that only has one or two employees, okay, it was either him or it was me. And you do have to be accountable. And luckily our boss has always drilled that into our heads here. It's like, hey, your name's on this. Be proud of what you do. And if you can't be proud of what you're doing, don't do it. I mean, just if it's not something that is honest, true, and right, don't do it.
Yeah. Well, gosh, Maggie, thank you so much. Maybe you could, if you don't mind, when you get audited again, if you could ask.
I would love to. Yeah. I always wind up with a giant list of questions.
What happens if?
I have a.
Wait till the audit's over, though, because then they'll be like, well, why are you asking?
No, because I'm like, I want to know. I usually, first day in, I'm like, all right, here's my 12 pages of questions.
Yeah.
When do you want to start going over these? Where do you want to start?
That's awesome. Yeah, do include that. I'd be very curious what zero tolerance really means.
Yeah, I am very curious
it's
too.
It's a very gray line. Zero sounds like a very definitive line, so I'd be very curious. Very curious.
I really would think that would apply to the dealers that are willingly making these mistakes. Or in one case, a few years back, there was a dealer in Missouri that had purchased a collection and then just turned around and out in the parking lot, just under the table, yeah, I bought all these on my license and now I'm, yeah, sure, you $300 for that one? Yeah, sure, all right. Yeah, no paperwork, just take it.
Boy, that's not,
and then somebody else
not a
sees
very
that.
good business model.
Somebody else sees that and goes, "Hey, wait a minute, that's not right." Or, sometimes if they know you've had mistakes like that in the past, if they know that you have an employee that is letting guns go out the door no matter what the response from the FBI's background check says, then they'll send usually someone from local police there to check, and sometimes local can even send someone undercover to check, and then they're like, yeah.
Well, my guess is the lead investigating agent probably has discretion on who he recommends for a zero tolerance as well. My guess is whoever he says, they agree.
Probably.
But
they have
there would have to be some discretion.
You have to have proof to back it up, too.
Well, Maggie, gosh, thank you so much. It's always so fascinating to talk to you. We really appreciate you.
You're so welcome. And this is the best circus I have ever been allowed to be a part of.
Well,
and
it's
cool.
It is a fun circus. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
You're welcome, Mark.
All right.
Take care.
You too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.